Welcome to Casual Friday on Lyrical Lip Service. I'm Tammy, and it is definitely Casual Friday. So, to start off with this video post, I'm going to do a touchdown dance because my baby brother is coming home. So, a little music to back it up. Not that I know what I'm doing, but we're going to try. And it's something like that. Woo! And also, what I really want to talk to you about today is about something that's really near and dear to me, which is, of course, writing. And because I am a writer, and obviously a lot of my greatest friends are writers, I'd like to start off with something that I wrote last night after discovering that my brother was on his way. I love you, Tonerd. And this is basically and wholeheartedly for you. It is few and far between that we as individuals are touched with the moment that changes us as a human being. For many years, I've been writing fantasy, and I love it. I wish to continue creating worlds of the fantastic, otherworldly, and profound. But there is definitely something to be said of the tragic and heroic realism that our species experiences and pushes through on a daily basis. We struggle through hardship, monetary, medical, and elsewise, stretching our capabilities and attempting to do what we feel is impossible. We must remember always where we come from, the United States, a land and a home full of infinite possibilities. I feel blessed and honored to be a part of what it means to be an individual blessed with the freedoms that living in this country allows. Freedom of speech and creativity. And as such, I wish to provide you with a smile and perhaps an occasional tear. My family has recently been touched by hardships such as illness and the absence of a family member fighting for our freedom. I am thankful to say that time is near over, as my warrior brother is on his way home to our beautiful country. And as an individual, I'm in humble honor and celebration of our freedoms. I offer you a taste of the drive behind such artistic endeavors. I am calling this piece For the Adoration of Writing, an Offering of Friends. And as such, I am going to read a blog post by my very good friend JOANN Buchanan. It's called Shadows Between the Pages. There are places between the shadows, worlds within the printed page. There are things that live beyond the grasp of conscious thought, things both wretched and beautiful, horrible and fantastic. That is a quote from C.D. Bennett. Chris Bennett. And this part is from JOANN. No matter how many times I read this, I will never forget the first time I felt like a sharp, cold pen had been used on my very soul, and it sent me crashing deep into a world, my world. I love it when a couple of lines written on a page send me to the end and back. It makes me chase the written word, and I become intoxicated by the very thought of the world it has created. The love of the written word is like a drug. A single thought can turn into miles across the ocean or a night in bed with someone you love. They are the very essence of my soul. I breathe them in every day just to live. When I read this by my friend, Chris, the first thing that crept across the squeaky wooden floors of my mind was, you must be talking to me. My heroes aren't the people who are rich and famous. They're ones who aren't afraid to tattoo my soul with the words they write. The shadows between the pages are the undiscovered worlds and minds of the person who writes them. Writing is a glimpse into the deepest essence of the writer. For that I thank you, the soon-to-be-discovered writer, or the one who is already sitting on my nightstand. Thank you for giving me my fix. I can already feel the beating of my heart and see the new worlds I want to create. JOANN Buchanan. This blog post is actually on the eclecticartistcave.blogspot.com. I will have all these links, actually, to all these posts on my blog, lyricallipservice.com. And JOANN also does a blog talk radio show by the same name, the Eclectic Artist Cave, at Blog Talk Radio. So, from her, and then a little piece of my own writing. I'm offering a couple poems that I've written, and this one is actually called On Writing by me, yours truly. Thievery of my soul began across the widened expanse of time, a secret pleading discovery within a book of song and rhyme. Your eyes a looking glass of fear, the color of the sky. I look upon their languid gaze as you go soaring by. How much longer will you leave me here, disguised as wafting need, limbs designed to grow and stretch out from a fertile seed? On paper spill my heart and soul, my deepest desires expose. My life held in your timid fingers, show them so they know. Yeah, my little poem. Okay. This piece is by a great writer. I mean, she's amazing, actually. Her name is POLISNER. And I pulled this off of her blog, dated in September, and it's gpolisner at blogspot.com. Again, I'll have a link on lyricallipservice.com. And this is titled, Where Stories Come From. And you know, we all have, as writers, different things that inspire us or move us to write, and this is a little bit about that, where stories come from. This morning after my swim, as I floated and stared up at the sky so pure blue-gray that its solid, monotonous color was the only thing in my line of vision save for those little floater things. You know, the little paramecium, I know that's not how you say it, it's paramecium, that slip along the periphery of things, viscous, scientific, and strange. A line came to me that I knew would likely be the last of the novella I am working on, if in fact the novella ever comes to full fruition. And trust me, it may or may not. That and a conversation last evening with my dear friend Evelyn's husband, the gorgeous and gregarious, if slightly giddy, Carlito, got me thinking again about where my stories come from, my beginnings and middles and ends, and how differently I seem to write than many of my friends who enviably write from well-formed ideas reduced to detailed outlines, their chapters and plot. Oh dear God, when will I ever learn to plot? I'd like to know that same thing. Mapped out before them in bulleted, organized glory. I write with no such bulleted, organized glory. For example, Evolution of the Pull of Gravity. I read an article about this guy, see, and something about him intrigued me, and I found myself wondering what his real life might be like. How what he had done, set out to walk across America to lose weight in this case, would affect his marriage, and more importantly to me, his children, his family. Here, this is a real photo of him walking, which you will have to look at her blog to see. He became the first central character driving the story, except that I knew that the story would be told from his son's perspective. She doesn't remember if the guy has a real son, but the second thing that happened was I was thinking vaguely about the story. My younger son spiked a fever, which brought the first line of the book to me, and the few lines that followed. I'm quoting now from Gay's upcoming novel that's going to be released, The Pull of Gravity. A fever was what started everything, that and the water tower and the cherry cola. Well, also Dad and his condition, and Mom being in Philadelphia and all. Nothing else about the story had come to me yet, but I started writing, and eventually the story unfolded. Little known fact, nearly forgotten by me, the first working title of the book in my computer files was Fat Man Walking, a far cry from Steinbeck, The Scoot, and The Pull of Gravity. Just now just The Pull of Gravity, eh? Anyway, this is how I write. Despite that, all I had in this case was a character or two, some lines that appealed to me, and my own desire and intrigue. Lord knows how I got it from there. All of my stories are like this, springing from bits and pieces, vague ideas, images that pull at me, call to me while I swim or drive or sleep. I suspect this is not the best way to write, and worse. I suspect it is why, while my writing is repeatedly praised, editors continue to struggle with my stories, my plotting, the way things unfold in my novels over and over again. Perhaps it is not the best way to write, but so far, it's the only way I know how. And I write the same way, and storyboarding is a very new experience for me. One that I'm really trying to learn to love. But anyways, I will have her link on my blog, and it's jpolisner@blogspot.com where you can find this story. And this is a poem, actually. We Write for Our Souls by the very talented C.D. Bennett. We write for our souls. We write out of hope, of passion, of tears. We write through the pain, the emptiness, the loneliness, the fear. We write to save ourselves, for our souls, for yours. C.D. Bennett. And also by C.D. Bennett is this marvelous blog post from echoesofdusk.com. Wolfbane. The moon has always been a source of strength and inspiration for me, and I suppose it could even be said that it has become my muse when times were at their darkest, though in the beginning of my writing career I was seldom granted such graces. Writing became my only outlet to survive in a world which I truly felt alone. I conjured dreams of madness and horror, using my newfound medium to fight back in my own way. I never would have survived without it. I know that now. It was a dark road, and it would have been so much easier to give up and fall apart. It was never pity I sought, or even acceptance. It was merely understanding. Even this, I learned, was a lot to ask, and for many years I wondered if I even had the strength to go on. But against all my critics and despite my own demons, I survived. Every writer has a story to tell. It's not a profession you take on lightly, and for many of us, the muse's first gift is pain. For anyone merely starting along this path, it may be years until you find peace with your gifts. The important thing is to never give in to doubt, be it from others or your own misguided fears. It won't be easy. But as they say, nothing worth having ever is. There will be darkness and there will be light, but we must never lose who we are to the changing shades around us. We are all a little crazy. Let's face it, a normal person would never commit to this kind of life. So many people are content with just milling through life with nothing to say and even less to offer, praying to no end about the state of their world, but too timid to do anything about it. It's sad, really. As writers, we must find that muse within ourselves to reach higher than that, to shout louder and write boldly. The world has enough sheep. A writer really only has two paths to choose. Are you a shepherd or a wolf? Chris Bennett. Okay. And so, because I offered you licorice, right? Literary licorice. Here is to end this post, this video, is another poem written by me, and it's called Candy Worlds, and this was written after a prompt from a very dear friend of mine, who I absolutely adore. And anyways, Candy Worlds. Sugary sweet the passage flows, rainbow dancing ribbon curls, bubblegum floating miniature worlds, spiral lollipop adventures unfurl, silky smooth like chocolate streams, licorice ropes they twirl and bend, the dialogue found within my dreams, creating sprinkled worlds of pretend. Join me down melted ice cream rivers, whipped cream clouds gaze from above, from within my sweet tart heart to give is a decadent treat of marshmallow love. And that will be it for Casual Friday from LLS of LyricalLipService.com. And I will have, of course, the poetry reading probably Monday or Tuesday. Until then, big kisses and